Well, when do y'all go walking with me tonight? Hello? Well, when do y'all go walking with me tonight? It's not cold summer. It's not. Honestly, go outside and check. It's not. Tomorrow's gonna be 70 some degrees. It's not gonna get cold. Well, I'm saying I'm almost done with my meeting. It's gonna go really fast. Yes, all week. Mayor Pro Tem, I think you're mute. Oh, she started it over. Okay.
Hello, Jay. Hello, Ms. Bullock. Hello, Chief.
Good evening.
Evening. Hey, Jay, Pamela.
Hi, Jim. How are you doing?
Good, good.
Good.
Shit.
Hey, Jay.
Oh,
No.
sorry. Lost me
It's
again.
okay.
Sorry. Oh, man.
It happens.
It may have,
That's
for some
okay.
reason, it's just got my Zoom up here. And
Oh, that was
may
a good
lose it
one.
again.
Good evening.
Evening, Kyle.
Sorry I missed it.
Hi, Kyle.
Mhm.
Oh,
There we go. Thanks, Cassie.
you're welcome.
How
Hey, Mayor.
are you?
I think we're just waiting for Chris and Commissioner Bonnets.
Right. Yeah. Commissioner Fiocco was unable to join us this evening.
Right.
I must have got the wrong packet this week. I didn't see very little on it, so I must have the wrong, am I in the wrong town?
We got a break this week.
Amen. What a blessing.
Yes.
You might be in the wrong town, Jay.
Yeah, that's right.
Very well.
You got part 1 and part 2, right?
Yeah, believe it or not, I did. I was up on the streets this morning and I noticed on the corner, we had a building and this afternoon it's gone. So moving right along.
Yeah.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Good to see you.
Good evening, Kent.
Hello. How are you doing?
Doing well, hope you are.
Hello, friends.
Hey, evening, John.
Hi, John. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Good, good.
Good.
Hmm. Has anyone talked to Chris?
Last communication I had with Chris was this afternoon via email. And
He emailed me not long ago. He said he had seen me a little bit. So. yeah. That was at 6 o'clock.
we'll give him a few minutes here.
Oh, I'm sorry. He texted me. He says he thinks he has, well, I don't, he might have food poisoning.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow. I just texted
He
him.
will not be logging on. I'm sorry, I didn't see this text before now. He does not
Okay.
feel very well. Sorry, I won't be able to support the items on the call tonight, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, given that, I will then call the meeting to order of the regular meeting of the Pittsburgh Board of Commissioners for March 8th, 2021. And as our custom, we'll begin with a moment of silence. Thank you. Jay, would you lead us in the pledge?
Certainly, my pleasure. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
The first time then I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And there's been for the well, the first item is manager update, and Chris won't be here. I did have a exchange with him on email earlier this afternoon, and he told me that one of the things he was going to mention in the manager update, that in the package there is a document concerning the UDO. And that was not intended for discussion this evening, but rather for discussion at the March 22 meeting. And that would be on the agenda for that purpose. He wanted me to make that clear for the commissioners and also for the, he intended to make it clear for the commissioners and also the public that that would be scheduled for March 22nd. And I don't have any updates today. So Jay?
I don't have anything other than I will be on the Parks and Rec Advisory Board to Wednesday. I hope Jennifer will send me that link,
Okay.
or Cassie. They will take care of that.
Okay.
That's all.
Kyle?
Yes, for the Chatham County Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, we had a meeting last week and reviewed the process of applications from last year and went through some changes to that process to suggest to handle some a good problem, some excess money that we have to get that back out. And then for the Pittsburgh Boys and Girls Club, we're about to put a survey out to the school students and parents in the districts to judge interest and get people signed up for updates on the club. And then we secured a contractor for the renovations to the Kiwanis Club as well.
Super. Excellent. Okay. Pamela?
No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Okay. John?
Neither do I.
All right. That brings us to citizen matters. Do we have anyone signed up, Cassie?
No, sir.
All right. I would then move to, or ask for a motion to either approve or amend the consent agenda.
So
I'll make a
move.
motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Pass. That takes us to public hearing concerning the zoning text amendment on nightclubs, bars, and taverns. So I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. So we have anyone signed up for the public hearing, Cassie?
No, sir.
Okay. Teresa, is this your, yeah.
Yes,
Would you like
sir.
to, walk us through this, please?
Sure. Yes, that was quick. Let's see. Get it to full screen. Okay. Thank you and good evening. Planning staff is requesting a text amendment to the Pittsboro zoning ordinance regarding nightclubs, bars, and taverns. So item number 1 is to amend the table of uses to change the use, nightclubs, bars, and taverns, from requiring a special use permit to being a use by right, a permitted use by right. In the C2 highway commercial and the C4 downtown central business district. And the use is already permitted by right in the MUPD, mixed use plan development district. And the purpose of this text amendment is to support and promote local businesses in town. And for comparison to the proposed UDO, it's similar. The UDO also allows bars and nightclubs as a permitted use in these 2 districts as well. And item number 2 in the memo removes the special use standard section in its entirety, which that section is included on the screen. So this section is in the special use permit standard section. So since these are not going to be special uses, if approved, just permitted uses, they can go ahead and be removed from this section. The other alternative is relocating any or all of them into the notes section of the ordinance, which is what the notes are for permitted uses by right. So item number 2 recommends removing the use separation standard of the 500 feet from any other nightclub, bar, or tavern. There's also a separation standard of 200 feet from any church, elementary school, public park, or residentially zoned property. The current uses also require that the entrance of the building face towards the road. That's mainly used for non-residential uses. And it also has a 6 foot high opaque fence adjacent to any property line abutting residentially zoned property. And also parking shall be no closer than 30 feet to any property line of abutting residences. So the zoning ordinance still has screening standards in regards to the screening section for uses that are of differing intensities. So there's still a safeguard on screening. The town also has a noise ordinance too. So if noise is a concern, nightclubs or such, there is existing standards already in place for that as well, where you have to be a certain decibel at the property line, and that varies depending on the time of day. And then also for comparison, in the proposed UDO, there are no specific use standards or special use standards for bars or nightclubs in the UDO. So this would be similar to what the proposed UDO is. And so staff recommends that after the public hearing is closed, to forward this item to the planning board for their regular meeting. And please let me know if you have any questions.
I just have a couple of things. On the if someone wants to go forward with a bar or tavern or that sort of thing, they are required to obtain a permit from the state ABC Commission.
Yes,
And
sir.
when the state ABC Commission receives a request for permit, they will forward that permit to the town for the town's review, and the town can comment and to either accept or object to the permit being issued. If there's an objection on the part of the town, it has to be in a very narrow category, and the ABC Commission is under no obligation to follow the lead of the town. And I just point out that the ABC Commission standard is that a tavern, bar, that sort of facility within an ABC permit cannot be closer than 50 feet from a church or a school. And so if we were to require the 200 feet and the applicant objected and we went forward, I am not, my reading of the regulations and the statute leads me to believe that the ABC Commission would not enforce the 200 feet that's mentioned in this. So I just raised that.
And just for a point of clarification, the town would issue zoning approval, but that's required before the ABC Commission would approve anything on the state level. So they would require town approval first. And from what I understand with the 50-foot rule is that is something that the ABC Commission looks at. But I called someone from there and asked, and from what they told me, that's not really something they deny a permit for. So even if it is 50 feet, they would look to see if, that was a possible issue or concern. But even still, the way that it's enforced is it's not like black and white language that you would see in the statutes. It's something that they look at in their review, but it's not like a written in stone standard either.
Well, for our purposes, I would look at, for example, the C2 zoning next to Horton, and the town might well find itself concerned about a bar or tavern that was too close to the Horton Middle School. And I'm not certain whether or not the 50-foot would be the measure or not. But at any rate,
Okay.
I just throw that out there as a matter of interest. If I gather from what you just showed us on this, and I can pull it up here, the 200 feet is in the part to be stricken. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's not going to appear somewhere else.
No, sir.
Okay, so for our purposes, the applicant, as long as the applicant was able to get an ABC permit from the state, could build within 5 feet of a school.
Yes, sir. If they met setback requirements.
Right. Okay.
And these, like I stated, if the board would prefer to leave any of these standards in, they can always be added as notes, a note section.
Right.
And so it would still be applicable to even the permitted uses.
Gotcha. So I guess, I'm not certain that the 200 feet that is part of the part that's being stricken and would be enforceable vis-a-vis the ABC Commission.
No, it
But
would only be enforceable through zoning.
yeah, but the 50-foot would, if the
Possibly.
town were to take the position that we oppose to the permit because it is closer than 50 feet, I believe the ABC Commission would take that into serious consideration and most likely deny the permit. But as you say, it's not a hard and fast rule, but it's certainly one that they have a tendency to follow. I think the last time that this came up in any real form was when there was a consideration of using the property that was next to the, that we're going to be using for town hall for a school. And I know this issue of proximity to a bar or tavern was raised at that point in time. It was turned down for other reasons than its proximity to the school. So it never got to the point of having to be looked at from that respect. And by that time, again, the permit had already been issued. And so the would have been a hard struggle to get the ABC Commission to revoke the permit. In fact, I did a cursory reading of the statute today, and I don't think that's allowed to revoke the permit due to subsequent building activity around it. So I just raised that issue. So I guess my question for the commissioners is, do we want to have this section 5.3.3.35 just stricken, or do we want to put them in notes as a part of this amendment?
And sir, I do have an email that I received from the ABC Commission that was speaking towards that 50-foot rule, because I had a question on how they interpret that as well, if you would like me to read the response.
Sure.
I would.
Okay. So my question was if the ABC could deny a bar that is closer to 50 feet to a church or school. And their reply was, once the application packet has been logged in at the commission, the church or school may send in letters of concern or any information that they would like the commission to be made aware of pertaining to the business applying for the permits besides them. We will add that information to the pending application packet to be reviewed. All information is taken into consideration when issuing a temporary permit. Technically, there's not an establishment identified as a bar. And then she goes to explain the bar definition.
Right.
So yeah, it's not a, like, as you say, hard and fast rule. It's just something that's taken into consideration. And the adjacent school or church can weigh in on it as well. And they do take that into consideration.
Okay. Thank you, Teresa.
Yes, sir.
Teresa, how would those measurements be done? Is that property line to property line or structure to structure, or what do these distances mean?
I'm not sure if it's actually, if that separation requirement was included. I don't remember it being included in the statutes. And even on the ABC permit application, I'm pretty sure it just says 50 feet separation. It doesn't specify.
If I remember the last time we went through this with the school and the vacant property across, I believe it was structure to structure was the way it was being looked at, but I can't say that for certain.
Okay, thank you.
To me, that makes more sense too than property line, but
I have just one comment, and regarding the property separation, Teresa, I'm just, in some of our C2 zone, we have quite a bit of residential. That's what I feel like, we should have some type of property separation, whether it be a church. It says church or residential. Because we do have some residential homes still in our C2 district.
Well, the current language is only pertaining to residentially zoned property, not to just residential uses. So currently there are no separation standards for residences in a commercial district. It's only if it's actually zoned residential. But if you're saying,
The property that's wanting to put a bar on, is that what you're saying?
right, there's a separation requirement if from another property that's zoned residential, not necessarily that the use is residential.
The use from the residential property owner? I'm a little confused. I'm sorry.
Mr.
So if
Farrell,
you,
what she's trying to say is that if there was a residence on a or on a commercially zoned property, that would not count. It's only if the property were residentially zoned would the 200 feet come into play.
currently,
Right.
so if a house is in one of those red colors or in any of these colors, these are all non-residential zoning districts. So if a house is located in any of those, there's currently no separation requirement.
Well, Commissioner Farrell, I appreciate you bringing this up. I don't know if you've gotten any greater clarity on your question yet, but I'm thinking about this in a little bit different direction, that at some point in future, I am hoping and imagining that we will have mixed use, a mix of uses, residential, perhaps 1 or 2 stories above commercial. And I could imagine that folks might want to live over or near a bar or tavern or nightclub.
Yes.
And younger folks, probably younger than me. But that would be a valuable use. And I don't want us to prohibit that unintentionally.
Just for comparison, this is the proposed UDO. So the proposed UDO does include bars or nightclubs being a special use permit in the neighborhood mixed use. So that would actually be special use and then permitted by use in the commercial mixed use.
Yeah.
Just for comparison.
Thank you.
I have a comment, please. Now, in reference to the property separation, the 200 feet for the church, elementary, secondary school, public park, I'm definitely in favor of leaving that in as a note, for sure.
Okay.
I think we could leave that in as a note for the C2 district. I think in the C4, it's a little more difficult with the size of that district. I'd like to see where how that would impact the C4 district specifically. I think it could be a good idea for the C2.
Yeah. So the C4, for the 200 feet from a church, elementary school, public park, or residentially zoned property. So I think the main concern would probably be the residentially zoned property or churches.
Well, we also have Page Vernon Park in the
Yeah.
middle of downtown.
Yeah, the tiny pocket park.
There's not going to be much left that's not within 200 feet of one of those. You got 3 churches and the park.
Yeah,
And maybe you have more than 3, is it, 4 or 5.
And it's pretty much, you can see here, these are all non-residential. So it's not, the 200 foot from a residentially zoned property shouldn't be too much of a concern in the C4. But yeah, the park and the church. So is there a consensus maybe in that direction? Where would you like me to update the language, or maybe just give these options for discussion at the planning board level?
I do appreciate Commissioner Barnes's point that as we proceed down the road, particularly in our downtown district, the idea of mixed, residential and commercial, where having a perhaps on the first floor a bar or tavern is a desirable thing in many communities now, and we need to be cognizant of that as well.
Yeah.
And we're
Well,
certainly
I
going to have that situation in
Mhm.
Mosaic.
Yes, I do agree with that, because that is correct. Some people may want to live in that, the bar on the bottom and their homes on the top. So I do agree with that. But in reference to the church, the elementary school, secondary school, public park, I would definitely still prefer that 200 feet.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good to hear what the planning board thinks about those options.
Yes.
Because that is the current situation is that bars are not, by the current rules we have, bars are not allowed downtown, maybe even some of the current bars that we do have. I think that's it's difficult for a downtown with those standards.
Yeah, and I would think it seems to me that the pocket park in the middle of downtown is a little bit different than the multi-use parks that we have around town as well.
Do you think there should be a distance requirement from public parks? Is the issue mainly churches and schools and residentially zoned property?
I'm feeling okay with the pocket park being as it is immersed in downtown. I'm feeling okay with that being in proximity to a drinking establishment. But yeah, our parks that have intentional amenities for children, I think that's a very different situation, and I would hope that we would have that distance between drinking establishment and parks, and as other commissioners have said, the distance from churches and schools, of course, I agree with.
Okay. Well, I will provide all these options to the planning board as well.
So if I understand correctly, Teresa, what you're asking us to do is to finish the public hearing and then vote to send this to the planning board. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And according to pandemic policies, I guess even if we close it this evening, it'll remain open for comments for 24 hours, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Correct. So is there further discussion, or do I hear a motion to go out of the public hearing? leaving it open for 24 hours for public comment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I would entertain a motion to send the zoning text amendment to the planning board for their discussion and comments.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second,
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Teresa.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So that takes us to old business, new business, miscellaneous. So we're down to final board comments. So are there any comments from the commissioners before we finish?
Mr. Mayor, I just have one comment, maybe. I know the COVID shots are going around. I've had my first round. I was hoping possibly that we could maybe do our retreat at some time in person. I don't know what the feel is of other commissioners. I feel like we can get a little more done quicker in person. That's just my feeling. Whatever the board's comfortable with is fine with me, though.
Yeah. I would think we could arrange that in such a way that we maintained social distancing and masks, even though some of us have had shots, but
Yeah, one of the challenges here, and I'm having to remind my own family about this, is that having the shot merely protects oneself and doesn't
Right.
prevent transmission of the disease. One can still get a mild case of it and pass it along to someone, and they could have a severe case.
absolutely.
I think that well, I guess it would change things if the board consensus was that we do need to meet in face to face. Then that would justify all of us as elected officials to partake of the shots, because there is currently an allowance for elected officials, government officials, public servants who are forced or required to work in person. When I learned about this, we investigated it, and I decided that because these Zoom meetings were going fairly well, in fact, I mentioned this to Commissioner Fiocco, who called me about it just recently. I opted out and decided not to put my name on the list. But again, I'm open to the consensus of the board. I remain concerned, and even once I have my shot, that'll be. I'm leaning towards the one and done, the Johnson and Johnson. But that would still be, I think, 2 weeks after that before I would be protected.
Yep.
So I'm guessing that it won't work for our March retreat. I think we were trying to get a date. What is that? March 22nd we were aiming for?
I thought it was April.
Oh, excuse me, April. Okay. Yes.
I don't think we have a date set for it.
Not yet. No.
I would just ask that if the board is leaning in that direction, that we use a facility like the Agricultural Conference Center, the largest room there.
Well, I would just throw my 2 cents in that I believe that we've come a long way in the last year in using these Zoom meetings effectively and efficiently. And I think if that were set up properly, I agree with Jay. It would be, obviously a little bit nicer to be in person. But I think that I think we could certainly get the work done through a Zoom meeting. Because these have been very productive, and we've learned to deal with it quite well, I think. And I know some fairly well-known companies that I'm familiar with have concluded that they're going to continue with their Zoom meetings for things like their regular meetings, but in addition to that, their budgetary sessions and that sort of thing for at least another 6 to 9 months. All right. Any other, I don't think we have to resolve that right now, but is there any other commissioner comments? Or last things?
I have a tiny little thing. Received an inquiry from the national nonprofit organization that is working to promote the carbon fee and dividend policy. And they've asked me if I might share with them a signed PDF of our resolution. And Cassandra, I wondered if that, where that falls on your substantial to-do list.
I can email it to you tomorrow morning.
Oh, wonderful. Has it been signed by the mayor?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Mayor Nas.
You
And thank you
betcha.
again, board, for your support of it.
Absolutely. Is there any other comments?
Just that I hope that Mr. Kennedy gets well and
Yes.
gets well soon. My goodness.
Well, if he doesn't feel better by tomorrow afternoon, we'll get some chicken soup over to him. That'll take care of
You bet.
it. Well, if there isn't anything else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
And
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right.
In an informal way, Jay, I'll say I appreciate you bringing it up because I do dearly miss getting together with everyone in person. I think that our meetings there face to face are of a different character, and I miss that engagement. I miss being able to look everybody in the eye. So I look forward to that. But I personally feel like we've got a little bit more to go before I can get there.
I think it will be good to get back together in that format, and I think we're headed certainly in that direction now. So I feel good about that.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you all.
Well, thank you, everybody, and you all have a good rest of the week.
Thank
And
you.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Right.
Night.
Hello.